Marry before 27, you're before 26 maybe, and you're pretty much gonna have your desired family size. Marry later than that and your odds fall and fall and fall and fall and fall. Because the reality is you're trading off time, but it's not just number of kids. Get married at 35, maybe you have the number of kids you want, but by the time they want to play soccer, your knees hurt. By the time their grandkid comes along, your ability to remember your grandchild's name is not as good as you might have hoped. Being there for your grandchild's wedding, not going to happen. Later doesn't just mean you have fewer kids, it means you spend less of your quality years with your kids, with your grandkids. The reason I care about this, the reason ultimately I've chosen to devote my life to this at the Prenatalism Initiative, is because there's just a lot of people who are going to die miserable because they don't have the families they want. And as a Christian, I'm called to love my neighbor. I don't have an option in it. And I think that this is one of the most severe problems in our society, that so many people are foregoing one of the most meaningful parts of their life, the great project that they will build. As much or more than any company is going to be the company of their family.
I just read a comment. Somebody said, my biggest regret was having my daughter. And honestly, that hurt me to my heart to read, because understanding that kind of pain, I understand the heartbreak. I understand the relationship with your child getting so damaged that sometimes you sit there thinking, if I had to go through this again, I don't think I could. I've had moments where I thought that too. But then there are moments with my own baby where she's so loving, hugging on me and being so sweet. And I can't imagine life without her. So a part of me understand that pain behind that comment. But another part of me just can't imagine truly not wanting my children. And maybe that's the real heartbreak in all of this. How deeply parent children's pain can affect the human heart. Think about it.
I regret having children. I can't even begin to imagine what it must feel like to be the children of these women. Sooner or later, everyone has to decide whether to give up the three most important things in your life as a woman: lazy weekends, disposable income, and overall peace of mind to have a baby instead. I can't. It's an interview that they made with a 27-year-old mom of a 1-year-old from North Carolina. And maybe this stood out to me because I'm in a really similar phase of life as this woman right now, and we could not have more dramatically different takeaways. She says this: my husband and I met in middle school. He was always interested in having a big family, and I told him I wasn't sure. Unfortunately, it took me seeing a positive pregnancy test to realize that this was not for me. My son was placed on me. I didn't feel anything. Let me read that line one more time. When my son was placed on me, I didn't feel anything. It was surreal. I told the nurse, "You've got to put him back in the bassinet. I'm about to puke." You felt nothing? Nothing. Not even like a single emotional pull at all towards your baby. Either is A, tragically sad and a perfect example of postpartum depression. And if that's the case, I'm so sorry for you that you didn't have more hands on deck to notice that and to help you walk out of it. Or B, is the most ridiculous, clinical, insane narcissism I've ever heard in my entire life. I felt like I had disappeared as a human being. And this is where this gets really interesting. Clients called me mama. Friends and family asked me how my son was. They told me how excited and overjoyed I must be. I tried telling them I wasn't coping well with motherhood and was still processing the birth, and they'd tell me that's what motherhood is. One of my friends texted my husband, "Wow, she's changed, and not in a good way." It came from a place of care. She and many of my friends and family told me I had postpartum depression. Oh, well, people did notice. There you go. To seek therapy and to go on medication. But at the same time, they'd quickly flip it back to, "You need to be there for your son. Pick yourself up by your bootstraps. No big deal, because the baby is here. Your existence doesn't matter." Or maybe to the contrary, your existence is supposed to be about something bigger than just yourself. It's been a year, she says. Genuinely, if there is a hell, I have been living in it since I gave birth. My son has a low tolerance for frustration and doesn't communicate other than whining, screaming, crying, throwing things, and pulling my hair. He's one. He's a 1-year-old. Every day things get worse and worse. I wake up and count the hours until my husband comes home. At some point, I thought I can't keep living like this, and neither can my son. Is that like supposed to be a threat? My husband and I are taking steps to separate, and he's willing to take on the role of being a single parent, which makes me feel incredibly guilty, but I can't live this life with him anymore. I'm not the parent my son needs. I don't feel anything for him, and I don't want to wait it out for years and walk out when he has actual memories. Right now, he's very young and you can fake things, but I can only fake it so much. This is just what our society does. Our society is programming young women to worship the god of self, period, full stop.
I had 2 teen pregnancies. I got pregnant for the first time at 13 and then the second time at 17. And while I definitely don't regret my kids, obviously, I totally regret how young I had them. My first pregnancy, obviously I was 13. It was a huge like uh-oh moment. But my second one, I was married. I'm still married, but I was married. We got married when we were 16. We had like our own house and like our own car and everything looked good on paper. And so I thought I was like all good. Now the pregnancy was an accident. I was on like the pill. But once I got pregnant, I was just like, you know, it's fine. Like we're married, it's fine. I was just so young, and I don't really want to say dumb, but dumb. And honestly, I had been an adult like since I was a kid. So age just like didn't really matter to me. It never mattered to me. I didn't realize how important it was. And now, of course, like looking back, I barely remember either of my first kids' like childhood. They're still kids now, but like their early childhood, 0 to 5. I think because I was like so extremely overwhelmed, overstimulated all the time. I was seriously just in over my head. I was so slow at age 17 that at one point my husband and I were trying to buy a car. And of course, the first place that we looked was online. We ended up finding a car. I think they wanted like $1,200 for like a super nice car. Not like a luxury car, but it was nice. And it was worth well more than, you know, $1,200. And the person was like, oh, we're joining the military, so we just need to get rid of it really fast. They were in like a different state, so they said they were going to ship it to us. And they wanted payments in gift cards. And we were 17, so what do? We went and we got those gift cards. It's about $1,200. And of course, we never got the car. After we sent over the gift cards, we never heard from that person again. Now that I just think back, I'm like, girl, y'all were parents, not to 1, but to 2 kids out there just acting stupid, doing stupid stuff like that. I really wish that we had waited and I could have really enjoyed my kids' childhood. I totally regret that now. Like, look at pictures of my kids when they were little and I don't even remember being there, even though I'm the one who took the picture. And it absolutely breaks my heart, especially because like I have new kids now. I have 4. I'm so enjoying my time with them because like I'm mentally able to, and I'm like more present. And I just wish I could have given that to all 4 of my kids.
If you are debating having children, please stop and listen. I can't eat when I want to. I can't go out and just get a Dunkin' whenever I want to. I can't film a video whenever I want to.
First of all, I love and respect her honesty. It is moments like this when I just really, really want to thank the Southern California public school system and what I learned in my life ed and health classes in 5th, 7th, and 9th grade. The thing that I learned the most from in that 7th grade health class, throughout the school year, one student in the class would get to have a baby. Now, it was like an electronic baby that you would take home with you. And there was a key that went into the back of the baby. Anytime the baby cried, you'd put the key in to like feed it or take care of it. If you did not, and the baby kept crying, it would log that internally in some sort of like chip or whatever to say that this baby went unattended while it was screaming. One night, I carried the baby home. It's crying and it's screaming just like that baby. I'm like 12 or 13 years old. And I'm like, I don't want this. Somewhere like 2 in the morning, it starts screaming at me and I got to get up and I got to stick the key in it and just sit there with it. That is when I learned that a baby means your life is over. I carried that all the way into adulthood to the point that when I'd have adult friends who had been married and in committed relationships with planned pregnancies, I would react to the news as if it were an accident. And I was hearing about it in geometry class and I'm like, oh my gosh, your life is over. I have had friends that have had babies and loosely acknowledged to me that maybe it was a wrong choice. If I hear that somebody is pregnant and I'm reacting to it like I just found out about in geometry class, then maybe I am not ready to be a father myself, even though I was raised to think that that would just be the natural progression. Something that I had to grieve when I got older was really, truly recognizing that I am not the person that can handle having a child. I'd love to have a child in a different universe. In the same universe, I'm a paleontologist. It sounds like a really cool idea, but it just isn't me. There's a grieving when I realize that that is something that's not going to be for me. I thank parents who come out and are honest about that choice. We don't live in a time where it's just super easy to be a parent, and it sucks. So I'm grateful to people who are honest about that. And I'm grateful to my school who gave me a baby doll robot to take home and drove me mad over the course of one evening. It was an ugly baby too. It was ugly.
This is why I regret having kids later in life. I had my first daughter at 34 and I had my second daughter at 36. And we waited to have kids on purpose. My husband is 7 years older, so he was 41 or 42 when we had our first daughter. And I was an entrepreneur. I was building a business. We just wanted more financial stability. So we were married like 10 years before we actually had children. And there's a lot to be said for waiting to have kids, don't get me wrong, but this is why I genuinely regret it. Now I'm 39 and I really wish we would have had another kid. And yes, is it still possible? Of course. But my husband is 46. We've got that age gap. I don't want him to be like a literal grandpa if we had another kid. And it just makes me sad. Like, I wish we would have tried a little bit sooner. So if you're in your 30s and you still don't have kids, but you think you want to have kids, I would get going. I wouldn't wait as long as you think you should wait, because you might love it. And that's what happened to us. I genuinely love being a mom. I was like girl boss, ran a business for 15 years before children. And as soon as I had kids, I was like, oh, this is what I was made for. And like, I love being a mom. I'm a stay-at-home mom now. And I just wish I would have had them a couple years sooner, because I think we would have had like one or two more. And I think women don't think about that. I think we were just taught, be a girl boss, grind, work hard, have a big career, and then have kids later when you're like 30s, mid 30s, even 40s now. And it's like, you're so limited. Your options are so limited. And first of all, your risk of having a high risk pregnancy goes up after 35. Your egg count does go down. You can have more complications during birth, and you just have a lot more issues. Your kids can have issues because of the egg quality. And I remember my mom telling me all this before I got pregnant. And I never really gave it much thought until after I had kids. So that's my experience. I genuinely do regret having them as late as we did, because I think we would have had at least one or two more. What do you think? What are your thoughts?
18 years of prison. Don't have kids. Trust me, do not make the same mistake. Free me from the shackles. You have so much ahead of you, like you have so much to look forward to. Don't have kids. You don't want to be a mom? Why? Do you feel ugly? Nothing wrong with not feeling proud about being a mom. If I have to go to one more soccer game, it's like, it's okay to feel regret and feel like, why did I sign up for this? Hey, honey? Me and Tina are having a glass of wine. It's wine night, remember? You had football poker night last night. No, he doesn't change any diapers. The first one was a lot of fun. The second one I had, there's something wrong with it. I don't know. It didn't feel the same. I'm just pulling my hair out all the time. You don't want to be a mom? You've never felt that way? Are you gay? Sometimes I just wake up in the morning and I look at my baby and I just don't want to live. I'm sorry, did you say you want to have a baby? I was daydreaming, but I was overhearing you guys. Don't do it. Just don't do it.
I was 15 when I met him. He was 21, older, confident, the kind of person who made everything feel intense and urgent. From the very beginning, nothing about us was simple. Before we had even properly met, the relationship was already tangled in lies. We hid the truth about our ages from our families, building something fragile on a foundation that couldn't hold. What felt like love back then was chaotic, overwhelming, and toxic. At 16, my life changed forever when I found out I was pregnant. He was 22. I was still a child myself, trying to understand what was happening while everything moved too fast to process. I didn't feel like I had a real choice, not one I could clearly see or fully understand. So I stepped into a life I wasn't ready for. The toxicity didn't disappear. It followed us through pregnancy, through sleepless nights, through the early years of our daughter's life. Every day felt like walking through something heavy and suffocating. By the time my daughter was 2, things hadn't really improved. Now she's 2.5. She's strong and beautiful, but her needs are complex. Autism, PDD, ADHD, cerebral palsy, labels that only begin to describe the reality of daily life. Caring for her is constant, exhausting, relentless. It takes everything I have and more. Somewhere along the way, we got married. A big wedding, the kind people dream about. From the outside, it probably looked perfect. A celebration, a happy ending. But inside, it didn't feel like one. I love my daughter more than anything. That part is real and unshakable. But love doesn't erase how hard this is. It doesn't quiet the thoughts that creep in late at night, the what-ifs, the regrets, the weight of choices made too young. And my husband, the person who was supposed to stand beside me in all of this, he doesn't. He won't. The responsibility falls back on me again and again until it feels like I'm carrying everything alone. This isn't the life I imagined. It's not the story I thought I was stepping into, but it's the one I'm living now. Complicated, heavy, and real. If you share this or even choose to read it, thank you. Thank you for listening when no one else did.
For those who co-parent, how do you trust the other parent with your baby? How do you trust their family with your baby? How do you trust daycare workers with your baby? How do you let go? Even if you don't trust, how do you just let it happen? Like, even for those who co-parent and like the other parent has another partner, like how do you trust that partner, that person that's around your kid? Like, how do you just let go? And at what point are you overprotective or negligent? How do you gauge or balance the two? And it's like, how do you deal with people who accuse you of being overprotective and you let go and let things happen? And then if something was to happen, how do you deal with the guilt for something happening? And then if something happens on someone else's watch that you were quote unquote forced to trust, tried to trust, what is a I'm sorry gonna do if something happens? What if the worst possible scenario takes place? Like, what can they say or do that's gonna make it okay if something happens? Like, I hate it, you know? This is, one of the main reasons why I never wanted kids. Because it's literally like your heart is in physical form and the world has access to it, access to them. And if they don't, they're going to test and try and challenge you for that said access. They're going to force their way, feel entitled to have access to your heart pretty much. I'm angry.
Listen, I'm glad that parents are finally being honest about like what hell it is to have kids and like how miserable it actually is. You had okay.
All right, y'all, that is a wrap for today's video. I just want to say a special shout out to the Child Free Gang. Thank you guys once again for all your continued support for this channel. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, video ideas, or anything else, please send me your email request to childfreelt@gmail.com. Again, childfreelt@gmail.com. Okay. So once again, thank you guys so much for the continued support of this channel. Thank you for getting me to over 6,000 subscribers. If you are new to my channel, please make sure you hit that the comment button, and please make sure you put new subscriber on my channel. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. Please give this video a thumbs up. Please like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. I'm going to check you guys out in my next one. Bye.